Hey guys, welcome
Hey.
to the 1 year anniversary, the 52nd episode.
Is it actually?
We've had a whole
Yeah, it's
year.
52.
You're
whole
shitting,
year
dude.
of GuardianCast, dude.
The first
Even-
GuardianCast, so I was part of the second one, not the first one, right? That's when,
Yeah.
like, because it was like, let's figure this out. We didn't even have a name at that point.
Yep. Yeah, Huffy and I just like winged it on the first one. We were like, let's pull up to TWAB and just talk about shit. And we haven't really expanded much since then. It's pretty much all we do still.
It's
So.
not really any new content, right?
We've all evolved as people, though. You know, there's a lot of, we're
Actually,
all...
I remember verbatim, like one of the lines when I started it out. I was like, "So guys, we're gonna do pretty much what everybody else does, where we just pull up to TWAB and talk about it." And Huffy was like, "Dude, you are being like the worst right now. It's the same."
Oh.
Good times though. There's a whole shit ton of stuff to talk about today, but first I just want to say, did you guys hear Glad got banned from Anthem?
Oh my God.
I saw, dude. That shit's hilarious.
How?
For playing PvP. I mean, for playing PvE in a PvE game. Lord.
Yeah,
help.
basically he found like an efficient loot grind, and they called it exploitative
Hmm.
Okay.
and banned
So they're
him.
not Bungie, and they don't take kindly to Bungie like active, because like Bungie doesn't do that, but they'll be like, we understand people are doing it, but we'd prefer if they didn't, but we're gonna patch it soon. You know what I mean? Like they kind of like secretly back end it a lot. Well, perfect example is the Wordcliff Coil thing. Nobody got banned for that.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's like he didn't use any third-party software. It's in the game, So I don't agree with banning people for that kind of stuff. I just think that's
so. What did he
ridiculous,
do
but
though?
He
literally
unintentionally farmed
Yeah.
chest. It wasn't even like he didn't have to go out of bounds. He just like walked outside and opened a chest
Yep.
that had higher than intended drop rate. Like, come
Definitely
on.
his fault. I knew it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now they're like freaking out. They're trying to do damage control on Twitter because people are like pissed about it, and they're like, "We're looking into this." It's like, no, it's too late now.
You fucked
Yeah,
up.
fucked
Yeah.
up.
So looter shooter has no content. Streamer decides to turn no content into some kind of content to find an efficient way. Looter shooter with no content then bans streamer that wants to efficiently grind no content.
It's similar to that story you told us about with the dude with too much ammo in Fallout 76.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was like. What I was thinking,
Yeah.
because I'm like the dude has too much ammo. He's doing it efficiently, and it's like, you're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How dare you be efficient and play our game?
Oh.
Well, yeah. So I mean, I guess I don't know the details of what actually happened there. I guess I could probably find out.
Of what, the Fallout 76 thing?
No, Glad's thing. I didn't even hear about that.
Oh yeah, he put a video out about it, but and then like tweeted a little bit. But yeah, it's pretty lame.
ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah, especially with like how much people seem to hate the
Anthem.
game right now.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
Like hating it right now. Yeah.
yeah, it should help, probably.
At
But-
least it's some press that isn't your game is bad. It's like your devs are bad.
Yeah,
Like
that
it's
should mix things
new-
up.
Yeah, it's new news.
Yeah.
Oh god.
You feel like he shouldn't have been doing it on stream? Why? Like, what is it something? Because I'm under the impression it's something he discovered, right? It's not like
No, somebody
put
like
out a-
came in his chat and was like, "Hey, try this," and it worked.
Oh, okay.
Frankie says, in a bizarre world where Destiny goes from being the worst tier loot shooter to the best of the lot, with the unknown being Division, I guess at this point.
Yeah, a permaban for getting more loot than intended is a joke. Yeah, 100%. Like 118.
So the ban was a joke then?
Yeah, April, March Fools. It's March Fools.
Yep. A lot of fools in March.
March 2nd, Fool's Day.
All right,
Yeah.
here I go.
Nice.
Yeah, the first 3
careful
minutes
not-
is the worst.
Not to spill that there.
Dude, get
but-
it everywhere.
I
So
promise.
good, exciting news. The website's finally live, GuardianCast.net.
Let's go.
Yeah.
It's up there. You should definitely check it out. There's some fun and exciting bios in there.
Yeah. They're really, really well done.
Yep. And so, Eddie, do you want to tell us a little bit about Bounty?
Yes.
Can you explain that a little
So
bit?
Bounty is a website. It is a platform in which viewers can add to our content. They can drive what they want to see from us. I currently am a Bounty partner. If you go to bounty.com/Eddie182, you can submit questions if you want to ask us things. You can submit things you wanted to see me do on stream. And recently we've invited Recked to be a part of it. I don't know how far along you are in the process yet. But yeah.
Not too far, but from what I understand, it seems like it's not really like a sponsorship thing. It's kind of just like a way to let your viewers and your fans engage with you, and they can offer different incentives, and you can either accept or reject them, which is a pretty cool concept. I'm willing to give it a shot.
Their aim is to be a Patreon killer, if you will. Like, they want to make it more interactive and make it so the viewers can participate more than just getting rewards.
I think the best Patreon killer is Patreon.
Well, you're not wrong.
I mean, Patreon's I don't know. It's a great... It does its job well, you know.
Yeah, but they've been like under a lot of fire recently. Like, people are not too happy with them. There's like a lot of people leaving the platform and stuff like that.
Yeah, we talked about it in early January. There was a mass exodus of both sides. And most of it had to do politically, but it was both sides of the political aisle that were upset about it because they were stifling creators
Speech,
and
right?
speech.
Oh. Like a
Speech was a big part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, the Dems and Republicans in Congress got together, both sides of the aisle, to say, "Oh, we're leaving Patreon."
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Yeah.
Patreon is Obama
He's
administration.
insinuating elected officials.
Yeah.
Like
No
commentators.
elected officials. No, nothing like that.
Yeah, stop contributing to our campaigns because we really care about how you give us money.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Welcome to Politics Cast.
Yeah, for real.
So yeah, Bounty is it's a new thing. It's fairly new. Yeah. I don't know how much more you want me to get into it.
No, that's good. It's something we're gonna give a try here, and see if we can get people asking questions or making suggestions for the cast and stuff like that. So keep your eyes
It's
out.
Bounty with an E. BOUNTEY.com.
Yeah. So we got a 7-8 minute ViDOC this week.
Yeah, it
So
was
most
8 minutes and like
information.
57 seconts.
Okay. Huffy is in so much pain. Just so you guys know, audio listeners, you might hear him wincing. Huffy is icing his wrists right now. So
Yeah, it does not.
just
feel good.
so you don't think he's like taking a crap or something.
He
like
might
that
be. We don't know.
on the cast. So basically, most of this was about the new game modes coming to Destiny. Season of the Drifter.
Yeah.
Revamped game
we
mode.
have-
I thought the
new.
focus of the ViDOC was the SMG. I don't know.
It's true.
It
is,
The
actually,
SMG
yeah.
is pretty lit, dude.
True.
There was more about the SMG and the TWAB than there was in the ViDOC. To
They said
be honest.
Crucible
The
players.
ViDOC made it
get
look cool,
excited.
made everything look really cool.
There's gonna be something for every type of player, Huffy. So
Yeah,
Get that
something. That's like Christmas is coming up, and like everybody gets a gift, and like you get socks, and like your sister's kids get like $1,000 of Legos.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
and you're like, all right,
great fucking way to put it.
I wanted a Death Star. You know,
No, dude, you get socks. That's
yeah.
it.
It's like a white elephant, like the $10 white elephants, and then somebody spends too much. I think they had an episode of Office Space about that, where he bought him an iPad or an iPod, and like everybody was switching for the iPod.
Yep.
So they do this thing like at the beginning of this ViDOC. I went through this ViDOC like in chronological order and kind of broke down what I thought was important. But at the very beginning of the video, they mentioned like they're like, guys, the drifter's been dragging around this ball. What's inside? And, that's what they said like back when they announced that Season of the Drifter was going to be a thing. Was like, what's in that ball, guys?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've looked at that ball and I've never like really once like thought about it. I actually thought for a while, I was like, that's the map we're playing on. You know, like that's
Oh,
what I
rest,
thought,
dude.
You know,
It's just a fucking planet behind his
dimensional
ship.
rift inside of that ball.
Yeah.
Well,
a
the
dimensional rift is
spoilers.
just-
Don't we all?
We're not there yet.
Yeah. So let's talk catch-up mechanics for your catch-up mechanics, guys.
Yeah, gotta catch up.
That
In
was-
case you-
I
in case you
cannot
didn't play Destiny
believe.
in the past 2 months.
Yeah. So you can get to 640 power in 1 to 2 hours after starting up Season of the Drifter. Or, well, I guess, is it going to be tied to Season of the Drifter, or is it going to be tied to the season pass?
That should just be tied to this season because they announced
can
that you'll
get-
be able to get 700 power without the
That's
season
right.
pass. So,
Okay, so
or what would be hilarious if they're like, yeah, you can go totally get ahead to 600 to 700 power and then lock that behind the season pass.
Oh my god. Yeah. So within the first 1 to 2 hours after the new season drops, you should be able to bounce up to 640 power with these new things called power surge bounties. Personally, I've said many times I'm not a fan of catch-up mechanics. Like, I really think that they're overdone in this game. I get what they're going for. They want people to be able to jump back in who have taken a break from the game. They want people to be able to get their friends to play. That's fine, but I don't see people coming back for this. This is great for people who are engaged in the game.
Yeah,
It's something that a lot of people
want to
wanted,
play
though.
Destiny.
Like on the subreddit, you would go on the subreddit and you go, well,
Yeah.
it's something that the subreddit's
Yeah.
been asking for.
And honestly, I would be opposed to this if the game was like in a state that like made sense. I don't know, for like
Yeah.
if it was like an MMO style game where like power level mattered, but the power
Yeah.
level is honestly an arbitrary number that you like push up to
Yep.
the top for no reason. So it's like
Yeah,
it
that's
doesn't
why I'm
really
not
matter.
making a big deal about it. I just, in principle, am not like for these kind of things usually.
No, I don't know, it seems
Right.
kind of silly to have such a mechanic. Like, you should still have to grind. Everyone else did the grind. You should too. Like, I don't know. It's silly.
Yeah, they're going for engagement over investment. Is like,
Yeah, but
It's
they
like the
want us
goal,
to
you know?
invest, so why not? I don't know. Backwards thinking, I think.
Well, I mean, the
Yeah.
problem is that, so like, I mean, especially from this part of the season's past perspective, like the only parts of Black Armory that were engaging or investing were like these couple of little forges that popped up out of nowhere.
True.
And to like ask people to have to go do that incredibly shitty burst of content to like participate in what hopefully is better Gambit Prime and not Trials.
True. Yeah.
Yeah,
of the
not
night.
Trials.
Super not trials.
That's we should just call it that. What's the new thing called?
Reckoning?
The
the Reckoning.
The Reckoning. We should just call it not Trials.
Yeah.
Right, from now on, it'll be forever known as not trials and GuardianCast.
It's certainly not Trials.
Frankie wants to know if we're going to be playing the Drifter on day one,
I am.
the season of the Drifter.
Yeah, I am.
I'd have to check my schedule. I mean, as long as I'm off from work, probably.
Well, that face from Huffy tells me everything I need to know.
Well, I mean, Huffy's into other games right now. I'm running out of other games to play, so
Yeah, but is Destiny going to come back with enough bite?
I don't know. But so I'm gonna go ahead and just like stake my claim here because I think I'm probably gonna be the only one in this camp. But I want this to be successful. Like, I want to play Destiny right now.
Same.
I know a lot of people want to play other things right now. That's totally fine. I know that this is not getting a lot of people excited. But I don't really want to play Apex or Fortnite, and I'm out of single player stuff to do. So I want this to be good. When Gambit first came out, I really liked it. And if they can kind of recapture that magic a little bit, then yeah.
I mean,
I think it'll do all right. As
Yeah.
far as like player base, though, the difficult thing with Gambit was always the queue times for the matches. So like that and competitive, like it kind of felt the same thing, like you were playing the same people over and over again, and it was super super sweaty. Now, given the fact that they have said that they do think it is the sweatier version of Gambit,
Yeah.
they're probably leaning into the fact that they know that the PC user base is going to be lower.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
I mean, I think just
I
on
don't know
Reck's
that
point,
by
really quick.
sweatier, that they mean that it's more like competitive PvP, though. I think they mean like, people are going to be trying harder.
I mean,
It's just a more fast paced. I think
Yeah.
what they meant was that it's just going to be a more fast paced
and
game.
more roles.
There's more on the line because it's only one round.
Well, it's also going to be
Right.
more roles associated with what you're doing, because they likened it to raid
Yeah.
mechanics where you need to have a person doing something at all times.
Gotcha.
That's the thing that is concerning. That's the thing that really gets me, is because they made a huge deal about all these roles, but there is nothing to force you into that role. It's like you don't pick the role before you go in. It's just like an arbitrary, like, oh, I'm quote unquote the invader. That doesn't mean that you're the only person that can invade.
Right.
It doesn't mean.
Yeah, but what it does mean is that, all right, so let's just go over some of these changes so people understand what we're talking about. But basically, Gambit Prime is a one-round, more intense version of Gambit, where supposedly there's going to be more boss mechanics and stuff like that than there is in the traditional 3-round version of Gambit. There is going to be 4 different roles that they've defined of Reaper, Collector, Sentry, and Invader. Reaper is the Invader. Collector is pretty self-explanatory. You're banking moats. Sentry is there to take the blockers down, and the Invader, the Reaper. The Reaper is killing just random ads, and the Invader is invading, obviously. They have different colors to designate this, and basically there's going to be special gear sets, and the gear sets are what define these things. Once you farm up the gear sets, you get special perks to make your job easier. So no, you're not hard locked to a role, but you will be more efficient if you're wearing the gear set to do that role.
Right. They said that you're going to be, well, the one thing that kind of threw a wrench into that work, what Javi just said initially, was that they said that you're going to, you come across a team that might have 4 invaders.
Yeah, I mean, so that sounds good in theory, but what are these perks? Like, have they given us any? As far as I know, they haven't given us an example of any specific perk.
They did, not in this, but I linked a Reddit thread where they broke down some of the facts that were discovered in the Fireteam chat interview with Bungie.
Okay.
And one of the things that they mentioned was what was that thing that I sent in Discord, Eddie, about if you're close to the moats while you're invading or something like that, then it'll like drain their moats. Let me see.
Something like that.
I can find it.
I can't remember.
That's
exactly.
on the armor, or
So yeah, it's like a perk set
because they
within
said that
the perks of the armor. Like, so for doing the Reckoning, supposedly you get this armor that's really good for Gambit Prime that gives you certain pinnacle perk sets. It's convoluted, and I think it'll make more sense once we get our hands on it. The wording is kind of odd currently.
So what does it say about draining?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Give me a second.
Because to me, like, if that's like part of the perk set,
Pinnacle Invader perk makes you a blocker. You'll lock the bank when invading and drain moats if you go near it.
Okay. So if you're invading, it makes it so that you can siphon moats from the other team.
Yeah.
Yep. So Bubble Titans.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
That'll be interesting.
Pinnacle Collector.
So that's just one. They didn't give us like everything.
And summon an even bigger blocker. That's neat.
Yeah. Yeah. So these sets are and they're like set bonuses, but I listened to some of the interview and they said you'll be able to get the set bonuses and still wear an exotic. So
4 out of the 5. They'll probably
there's
be a set
also
of 5
something
pieces.
about they said if you want to do multi-rolls, if you want to like have three pieces of one set and 2 pieces of another, that you'll be able to take a consumable that will allow you to get the benefits of both of those sets.
And they're calling them synths
for
by
one
you.
game.
Mind you. not heavy ammo synths. Synths.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds way better than I thought it was going to be.
Right. I'm telling you, dude, like when I listened to some of this, I was like, what the hell? Like that sounds really cool. I mean, I hope it's really good, honestly.
They are adding a lot of things that make it interesting. How long it'll last being interesting is to be seen. But personally, I feel a lot of these changes as someone who plays constantly. Like I don't stop playing Destiny even when I'm not streaming. Like I feel that this is going to be really fun. This is going to be pretty cool. I'm honestly stoked for this.
And so while Exo said like you can have 4 invaders, yes, but
Doesn't mean all of them can invade.
that would be the one thing that would not make any sense to do.
Yeah.
Because only one person can invade at a time anyway. Anything else, it kind of makes sense. If you're all killing ads and you all have Reaper armor or something, okay.
Yeah, even if you invade though with other like you're missing out on so many other benefits in the match.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of is in your best interest to play your role, if you will.
Yeah, not bad. I'm into it.
So since it's 1 round, it's going to be 100 motes to summon a prime evil instead of 75. And also your motes can be drained from the bank, like I mentioned. These matches will be about 6 to 10 minutes, so that's like a Crucible match, pretty much, you know?
Yeah.
I think it sounds really cool. And here's the other thing. There's this synergistic thing. We haven't started talking about the Reckoning yet, but they've set it up in this way so that the gear for Gambit Prime is obtained in the Reckoning.
I think it's upgraded in the
which
Reckoning.
is a
It's not
PvE
obtained,
activity.
it's upgraded within the Reckoning. Is if
And it flies you into that directly, like right after a match, like automatically.
No, it's a
It's
separate.
how they made it sound.
It's a separate activity.
It's a separate activity. It's like a horde mode, I want to say. I mean, we've said that about many things in Destiny, but it's a PvE activity where they're really like, if you listen to them, they're like, this is not easy, guys. This is going to be an intense thing.
Yeah.
And then they're like, think Crota from D1. And I'm like, all right. I mean, you kind of just...
Yeah. the Crota thing was like, wait, what? That's a weird comparison.
It's like, you mean the one raid that you could solo? Like, that everybody could solo?
Yeah. It's going to be a 4-person activity, is I think what they said, right?
Did they say? I actually didn't catch that. There's actually so much information here. I'm sure I've missed a lot of things.
I think DMG said on Twitter
that makes sense
that it's a 4-person thing, and even if somebody drops out, like it'll match make another person.
Because Gambit's 4-person,
right?
So,
yeah,
that makes sense. You wouldn't want to have to like drop somebody and be like, "We're gonna go farm for a while. We'll let you know when we have a spot back open." That'd be pretty lame.
Illusion's Quest is really straightforward. When it happens after that, I don't want to give it away too much. Calling it now. Forging Thorn if we side with the Drifter. Purifying it into Rose if we side with the Vanguard.
Oh yeah, there was some sort of thing where you could choose sides at some point, right? Like a light or dark side. I feel like
so. It might be the case where we have a like a choice to. I don't think it would change the gun at all, but if you had a choice with whether or not you, because they said in that thing your choices matter, didn't they?
Yeah, and they said if you have one character, you can't get to play out with both choices. So having multiple characters will benefit the choice situation.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
I mean, this is a lot of like, if you're somebody who plays 3 characters and you want to like have multiple sets for different roles, can you imagine having 4 sets on 3 characters?
Yeah.
That's more sets than we have now.
I just want to have one set. Can I just have one set and just decide what I want to do at the beginning of the match? Can I just do that?
Probably not. I'm going to say no. I'm gonna say no is the answer to that question.
I mean, we don't know
Fuck
how it'll
your
work,
vault.
but either way, like if you're into Gambit, this is going to be a big loot chase for you. So
But who's into Gambit?
congratulations.
My friend JC
No one
in chat
right
right now
now.
is very into
yeah,
Gambit.
no one now, but
No
dude,
one now, but yeah. So this might change it to be able to where at least it's interesting to play for a couple of weeks.
but honestly, like when Gambit first dropped, dude, like that trial, I was like really into it. Like I thought it was going to be a lot better and have like a lot more longevity. It was like almost there, and then people like realized, I don't know, like the best weapons to use to kind of take advantage of the systems in place, and it watered down the gameplay a lot.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So hopefully this changes it up a little bit. Also, something to note: these armor sets will not be useful in regular Gambit, only in Gambit Prime.
And nothing else. That's the best part.
Is that for sure?
Yeah.
That's serious?
They won't help you choose the
That's-
raid.
yeah,
They won't let you.
And I listened to their explanation. They said we tried it out. We thought about making it for regular Gambit, but they felt that it tipped the scales too much, and that it would have made Gambit a completely different game than they wanted it to be. Like it would have made it a lot more competitive. And basically, if you didn't have the armor, you wouldn't be able to play Gambit, kind of thing.
Kind of like bringing a
I
not forgotten
like
into
this.
QP.
That would be awesome if like it wasn't just for Gambit, you know?
Yeah.
Like if there were like sets that like were great for strikes and sets that were like great for raids and
Yes.
sets that were great for PvP, you know,
Yeah.
like that would be cool. It just feels weird that there's gonna be one like beneficial
Yeah.
set in the game and it's for fucking Gambit.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
to think. I mean, if this ends up becoming something people like, they may implement it in strikes and in Crucible.
It's a good point. At
yeah.
least the system is in
Yeah.
place. This reckoning thing is going to have 3 different difficulty tiers, which will be time gated and unlocked over a number of weeks, obviously, just like everything else.
Will
they've
it have
pretty much ever
random
done.
rolls on the loot as well on the gear? You think?
Yes, and
Do we know?
you'll
if,
like this. You'll like this, Huffy. The armor is getting randomized. All armor in the game is getting randomized more. So if you like a certain chest piece and it's heavy, but you want it to be mobility based armor, it can roll differently now.
Nice.
So
Hallelujah.
yeah.
Okay,
I
what
mean,
about-
honestly, I
what
don't
about being
think
able to save like what improvements to the collection system have they made? And any at all or no?
I don't think there's any mention.
not that I'm aware of. No, not that I'm aware of. But I don't like. I'm happy about that change, but at the same time, I think that was like a small baby step when really what they needed to do was just make you be able to choose, like in D1, your mobility, your armor, and your
I gotta be honest. I miss getting roles that were more varied. Like I miss there being good and bad gear. Like now it'll be able to be random. Like so you might get a piece of mobility gear or whatever, but it can't be like good or bad mobility gear. I like the fact that in D1 like they were
intellect,
tiered.
discipline,
Yeah, intellect,
and
discipline, and strength.
Yeah, but
good,
so that
good,
actually made sense because it was tied to cooldowns. But I think that your how you want to do your balance of mobility, armor, or mobility, resilience, and recovery should just be on a stat picker. Like you should just be able to do that however you want. Like I don't really agree with it being tied to armor. It's kind of annoying.
I can see that, but I get
That's how it
that
was.
sentiment.
That's how it was in D1.
Yeah.
I liked it better, is all I'm saying. I just think that it's such a small change that if you get like a perfect piece of armor and then it like is the wrong thing, you're like, like if it's like the wrong like resilience or recovery or whatever, like
yeah, but it did make
good rolls,
a ton
but
of
a
sets
bad,
unusable.
Stat priority.
Yeah.
You mean?
Yeah, like some of the coolest like Titan sets in the game were ruined because they were all mobility.
Mhm.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like what the. You know.
So now you'll be able to get that heavy or a restorative gear, not. But was it restorative for? I don't remember if it was restorative for.
Which set?
Not just like mobility for the Titan. Does the Titan have a restorative set, or is it it's mobility, heavy, and then something else?
Wait, what?
Oh, you mean
Like
like
the
the
stat-
actual word?
The stat priority that they have for Titans.
Mobility, resilience,
Resilience, and then there's
and
another one.
recovery.
Was that it?
Recovery. Yeah.
Recovery. Okay, so you have the heavy one is the resilience. No, what I mean as far as like the gear name.
The gear name.
Yeah, so like if it's mobility gear, obviously it's gonna.
Isn't it like heavy?
Because I know for warlocks they have restorative, but Hunter
Yes.
doesn't have that. Hunter has survivalists.
Oh yeah, it's different. It's class specific. I feel like that's not important.
This is the weirdest conversation I've ever had about Destiny.
Yeah, they have names for those things.
I didn't even know because I only play Hunter.
No,
Yeah.
I'm saying
Elitist.
what you're saying is that you wanted to separate those two things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make them have nothing to do with the armor at all.
Right.
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
Yeah, so JC is saying heavy mobility and restorative for Titan is a thing. He mains Titan, and he loves Gambit, by the way.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
So
I'm
the Reckoning
glad.
is that this PvE event we've been talking about. It takes place inside the Drifter's Ball, and here's the part that is not so great. It's basically just a reskin of the Trials of the Nine Spire. Like that's what it looks like.
It's definitely the 9 realm, if you will.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely, it's like, it's not a reskin. It's made, but there aren't a lot of assets for like the 9 architecture.
Well, there isn't. It's just like
because
white
it's super
tundra.
simplistic.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of triangles.
But so basically we had this build up that happened in Forsaken where like the emissary came to the Queen's throne and was like talking to her, and we were like, holy crap, this means Trials is coming back. And then they were like, no, Trials isn't coming back. And then they were like, but here's a PvE event with the Trials people.
To be fair, it is kind of
Like,
nice that they broke it to us beforehand that Trials is not coming back before they showed it to us. Because imagine how many people would be pissed and would have lost their shit. Oh, Trials is coming back. And then now it's not.
Yeah. Honestly, it was a good PR strategy, like breaking our ankles before they asked us to stand up instead of simultaneously.
Yeah.
Gave it a second to sit in.
So this like place is going to have the same kind of story progression system that the Dreaming City did with the Queen's Court, where every week there'll be like a new piece of story to learn about. It won't be accessible the next week to you if you miss it.
Sweet.
It's just kind of like a community story type thing.
So it won't wait a minute. So if you skip a week, you're done?
You missed that week.
Yeah, you'll have to look it up on YouTube, dude. That's what they did with the Queen's Court. I mean, it's
they want you to be engaged.
It's just how it is.
I mean, they want you to come back. They want you to have a reason to come back.
Yeah. But this is every week instead of every 3 weeks.
Correct.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
But it's like an evolving story. I mean, I've never been into the story in Destiny, but
they probably have triumphs that actually.
If everybody's talking about it, I might actually know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know,
instead of having to go to a website and read lore, I hated
Guardian.
that part. I hated that part.
Yeah.
Just wait 8 weeks or 12 weeks or whatever, and read wait for the bite video to come out.
Yeah, I'd never have watched a bite video. So.
That's why you don't know what's going on in the story. Come on, jeez,
bro.
He is really, really, really passionate about have in the game.
And if you ever need to sleep too, oh man, dude, bite videos.
Yeah, actually, he has one of those voices.
It's intriguing, but it's
I'm
just so
dude.
sleepy.
I'm notoriously bad for following stories in video games. Period. Unless it's like a masterpiece, like The Witcher. It's just hard for me to pay attention. Like when we're in strikes, dude. Sometimes I'll hear them say things in strikes, and I'm like, Oh, that's what we're doing in here? I've only played this strike like 600,000 times.
Yeah.
I've never even noticed that they say that before, you know?
You remember the first time you realized that you were like shooting dead people when you were like breaking the crystals in the Shrieker mission? And it's like, oh, that's neat.
This isn't dark at all. Yeah.
I just get frustrated by Tycho because she keeps making the same mistakes over and over again.
Yes.
Okay.
I get frustrated because
there's
there's
wait just like 5 seconds.
Okay, but what
Yeah.
about
I'm
the
gonna
courier
make it
in the
to her.
first mission for the Dreaming City every 3 weeks? Like, she's constantly getting
Yeah.
shot. You think she might do
Right?
it a little bit. Eh.
Oh, yeah. Tycho's voice actor is terrible.
It's terrible. It's awful.
She's really bad.
Is it as bad as Tyrion Lannister as the ghost?
Nothing's worse
Guardian
than
now.
Tyrion. Nothing's
Oh.
worse than him.
Is it that bad?
That was bad.
I'll be
Pretty
honest,
bad.
like, it's a weird
he
thing.
blamed it was Bungie's fault,
Okay.
not his.
Okay.
I mean,
He said,
you
"It's what I
ask
had
somebody
to
to
work
do a
with."
robotic voice. I don't know. Like,
He claimed it was the source material that he had to work with, and it wasn't.
Oh, yeah. Blame the material, not the guy saying the words. Okay.
dude, the material does suck.
That's not the
It
point.
does.
But he sucks.
It's very,
like-
very corny.
Yeah.
But Nolan North re-recorded all the voices,
And
and I guess
made it good.
they're better than they were. So obviously the material doesn't matter to so much.
I mean, dude, it's like, would
Maybe
you be like,
maybe I just have a nostalgic.
would you be
feeling
like,
about-
hey, Haley Joel Osment is a terrible voice actor because Sora's lines are corny?
No. Mm-mm.
I mean, it depends on the delivery.
I thought it was weird that they got a female to voice Mickey. I think that Mickey sounded just like
Too high pitched.
offensively non-male. You know,
Definitely not male. Oh, man. That is a
not like
phrase of
not
words.
that I would care. Like
Yeah.
if Mickey was a male or female character, like I'm not sexist. It's just like Mickey is a dude, and it just like it doesn't sound like how there are like 17,000 people in the world that can do a Mickey Mouse voice that's better than the one that they had.
That's
you know, like
amazing,
it's not
actually.
hard.
There you go. You heard it here first. Kingdom Hearts 4. Huffy's going to be playing Mickey. so.
After what I just heard, I would hope so.
You know, at least I have a. I am a
Whoa,
man.
whoa,
At
whoa. It
least
is
I am-
2019, Huffy. Calm down.
Toxic masculinity.
Whoa!
I'm looking it up in the original voice actor for. I mean, I'm not. Well, the current voice actor is I can't pronounce his name. Chris D. Diamantopoulos.
We're going
For
into
Mickey?
2013.
All sorts-
But let's be honest.
Diamantopoulos.
The "We've Woken the Hive" line, definitely better when Tyrion Lannister did it.
So are you
Came from the moon.
saying that it would be better if we had Mickey Mouse voice the ghost?
Yes.
I'd be into it. Honestly.
That's what we need.
Oh no!
Huffy.
That's what I heard.
Huffy, say as Mickey Mouse, it came from the moon. Come on.
So some other things we learned during this ViDOC is Thorn is coming back. We knew about that, but it's going to be an exotic quest, one of 2 exotic quests. We don't know what the other one is.
Yeah, and the second exotic quest will be open to all players, not just season pass holders. So that is
there
pretty
you go.
cool. That is a good bonus.
For free.
Yes, exactly.
What do you think it is, Eddie?
My mom, probably.
Icebreaker.
Your mom?
Yeah,
Mom?
definitely my
Do
mom.
with that?
She's quite the
It's
exotic quest.
Icebreaker.
I hope it's
Nice.
icebreaker. Honestly, we haven't had an exotic sniper since Warspite of the Worm, so it would make sense.
Do you
Yeah.
guys have a problem with them with them having Thorn be locked behind a paywall? Because we've technically already paid for some of this stuff if you're a Destiny 1 player.
No,
right?
because the season pass isn't sold separate. Like you're not able to buy Season of the Drifter by itself. So you're getting the old content with it when you like.
I understand, but I'm saying if you've already like paid for Destiny 1, like do you have a problem with them locking these old exotics behind a paywall of the season pass?
Last Word was an example. Or are you saying that's another
Yeah,
example?
I'm asking how you feel about that.
Was Last Word not open to everyone?
I don't know.
No, it's season pass only.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, of all the things to be angry about,
Yeah, I can't imagine a exotic hand cannon to be that upsetting.
Have we talked about the SMG yet? No. We'll
In
get to that.
principle, though, it is a little weird, right?
It is odd. No, it is definitely weird to lock
you
that
bought
banner.
Destiny. I bought Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. Why don't I have guns from Destiny 2? Like, that's what I want, and I have to buy a season pass to get that. It is, for people who complain about having to pay more money for content that they should have had at the start, I can see their point.
I think that this is a free appetizer argument. Listen, we all know it's built into the fucking ribs.
But at the same time, it's like, how many times can they resell us the same thing?
Clearly twice, at
more,
least.
It looks like.
It's gonna be more than, no. It's more than twice, because you remember they took all those exotics away in the Taken King, and then slowly brought them back.
Yeah,
you wanted the higher
that's
light
fair.
versions of them.
So this is the
definitely
third or
the third time they're selling
time.
us some of these exotics. I mean, yeah.
Not even that, but like you also have to consider that Destiny 2, in part at least, sold us exotics that were in Destiny 1.
Yeah,
so that's included.
Stuff like that. Yep.
I like Huffy's free appetizer thing, honestly. That actually makes a lot of sense.
I haven't heard anyone else be angry about this, and I'm like not.
I mean, I'm not angry. I'm just putting it out.
You sound
No,
angry.
I know. I just feel like this isn't the battle to pick.
If someone were
It's
to
not the
complain
battle to
about it,
pick,
though,
but
it's not
it-
like I would
like-
have a good comeback. Because that's the kind of thing. It's like if
When
somebody
Destiny
were
10 drops and they're like, "Hey guys, guess what's coming back this year?"
Necrochasm, let's go.
I won't care if Destiny 10 is. I'm trying not to be toxic. If Destiny 10 is good, I won't give a shit. Like it doesn't matter. Like the thing that's important is like, how does the core game feel? Like how does the core game gameplay loop feel? Like does it exist for their now 3 different communities? Like does the core gameplay loop of Gambit, PvE, and PvP, like are those solid? Like that's what matters right now. And right now the answer is no for all 3. Hopefully about to be yes for 1 with Season of the Drifter. And we'll see if we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I respect
But
that. That makes sense.
Like like my money, I'm happy to spend, on nostalgia as long as it's, packaged with some new,
Yeah.
Like that nostalgia is packaged with, it's like an add-on to everything else that we're getting, all the new game modes and everything. Like I don't care. Like I'll throw $60 at anything that's fun.
That's fair. Yeah.
They just have to make it fun.
Yeah.
And a gun isn't going to make it fun.
Yeah, they're not making us
Like
pay just for Thorn, so it's not. I mean, they're at least giving us more stuff. So I agree.
I guess the question is, if someone were to complain about it on a Reddit thread and be thoughtful with their complaints and say, why am I paying for this? Would you be able to defend Destiny's decision to do so?
I'm gonna stop you right there and say someone's complaining on a Reddit thread. I don't think they're gonna be thoughtful.
In the case where
No,
you hear,
there is people who write actually like well written, thought out critiques on Reddit.
It's true. It's just like right now, there's just much bigger battles to fight. You know,
it's another chink in the armor, though, right? So like the Eververse is dawning upon us, where certain freedoms that we've had for a while are going to be going away.
I think that's an overreaction. We don't know exactly how the new system is going to work. We know that there is still Bright Dust, which does something. And we know that things are going to be directly purchasable, which we've asked for a long time.
But not with Bright Dust, with silver.
Well, no, you will be able to buy it with Bright Dust as well. The silver thing, you're getting an extra, probably some sort of cosmetic nonsense thing. Like, it's not going to change anything from what we're already be able to buy with Bright Dust. They're just adding a little bit more and making it more... you can buy exactly what you want from these packages, if you will, with silver. So they're giving you an avenue to cut the RNG, cut the wait time to get it now, which they're cosmetic things. Like, I don't even know why people get that upset over Eververse, because it doesn't change anything.
Well, we've talked about this for an entire year now, or at least more than that. Like, we've all kind of had that opinion too.
Yeah.
But I mean, the people who were complaining about it were loud enough for Destiny, for Bungie to do something about it. What?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Internet spike. Everybody just kind of went robotic for a second on me. My stream is dropping all of its frames.
Fun.
Okay.
You're good on our
Anything we
end.
can do to help?
Yeah. Can I lend you some internet?
Well, somehow I'm talking to you.
Yeah,
guys,
you're coming through clear on us. Yeah.
Right. So there we are.
You're good for us. So I don't really know.
The vocal minority was vocal enough for Bungie to take notice, and there was
You're
enough
back.
of a problem for people who were having issues with it, is what I was saying.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. Yeah, true.
I mean, the
And
thing
it was a difficult to defend argument from the point of a person who was making an argument against it for a reason why they should buy the game. If that makes sense.
yeah. I mean, I understand the dilemma. I just really think that there are bigger bad.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, no, for sure.
We haven't gotten a new PvP map since Breakthrough, and as far as I know, we're not getting any with Season of the Drifter.
As far as
that
we know,
is something on its most basic level. If you're not putting in new PvP maps, I'm not asking for game modes or balance or anything. If you're not giving us new maps, you are failing a third of your community.
I agree. I think that,
to be fair,
the lack of Crucible maps is getting out of control.
To be fair, they haven't said that they aren't, but they also haven't said that they are. So,
I mean, yeah, we just went an entire third of the season pass without seeing new map content,
which I feel we could be due then. Right? So,
wait, didn't the shitty maps come out with
Breakthrough?
Did it
with Black Armory? Didn't Equinox come out? Or was that before Black Armory?
That's a Breakthrough map.
Yeah, I was going to say that was before.
Okay. So it came out a little bit after Forsaken.
Yeah, enough to make it seem like it was at least in between.
Yeah, so Forsaken, this huge release that gave us the most amount of content we've ever gotten in Destiny, gave us 3 unusable PvP maps.
Yep.
For a game mode that they've removed, it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable.
For our listeners, I have Blink 180. Eddie here. He is drinking in what looks to be an orange vanilla Coke.
It is actually 100% accurate. Good job. Good eye. Good eye.
I just had to point that out.
It's fucking delicious, honestly.
It is. It's the best. It's the most refreshing Coke I've had.
It's really
ever.
Good.
Yeah.
So just to wrap up this Invitations of the Nine thing.
Sorry, Huffy, but I didn't mean to cut you off there. But
we're good. I'm just still playing Countdown on Midtown, and I was playing that in the beta, and it's 2019.
You're not wrong, dude.
Excuse my language.
I understand.
Completely agree. It's getting absurd the lack of maps we have.
Yep.
Can we get a PvP not patch, but instead of Season of the Drifter, can it just be PvP?
I will pay for a map pack. I'll say that right now. I would pay for a map pack.
So Bungie did this back in Halo 2, where they had a downloadable map pack that was $5 or $7 or whatever.
Yeah.
And they did four or five maps, and they did five maps or 4 maps in each one.
That was all of their content.
Yeah.
But that's all that's all content ever was for them, and they understood
that's what I'm saying.
that
Was 100% of their DLC content was map packs.
Right, there was their DLC content, but not the content that was in the game. Not the content that was in the game.
Vendetta says he would pay for removal of them.
That's
a good one.
Not the.
That's pretty good. Yeah, a specific 3. Maybe the 3 that you.
Not the content that was in the game, though.
Yeah,
what
like
I'm saying.
take out
That
the three
that wasn't the
went with the
entirety of the
game
Halo
mode.
experience, but that was at that point was the only thing that they had made. So like Bungie, like on a system level of the company that they were, they're not like they don't understand the market that they're in right now.
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy is they kind of created that market and then abandoned
Well,
it.
I think more so what they're doing is looking at the data and saying more people engage with PvE than PvP, and then they're leaning into that.
Which is true, but I mean, you can't leave. The reason why games are successful on platforms like Twitch is not because of PvE content.
Sometimes it is.
Well, I mean, for in Destiny's case, it was.
Let me put it to you this way: Monster Hunter World.
Yep.
Its platform viability, though, Destiny's platform viability has always relied on a mixture of both PvE and PvP, and like
That's
one hand
true.
kind of gives to the other.
What do you call the IRL section?
Trash.
It's not the Destiny section, is what I'm getting at. So like Destiny has always lended itself on Twitch to be a very varied experience between PvE and PvP. Yeah. And you'll go on there and you'll see trials carries, and then you'll see, competitive.
Not right now you won't.
Not now you won't. But like before, even in Destiny 1, that's what you would see. You would see people doing PvE and PvP, and it was like a marriage of things. And now you don't see that at all.
I think that you're hitting on a point that's even bigger than that, which is that the streamability and content ability of games is so important right now that for them to abandon streamable activities, or like to head away from that direction, to head away from like free promotion for your game is like a mistake at this point, because people are so tied to the opinions of content creators. And for them to move away from like fan favorite streamable activities,
you know what I think would help?
Yes.
If they just banned Datto.
Oh yeah,
Just out of nowhere, just ban
Oh
Datto.
my god!
If they banned anyone who
and
did
see how the community reacts.
Well, if they banned anyone who did any of the glitching, like the Titan skating or anything like that, just like ban everybody who did that.
Just a big snap.
Or any glitch at all.
Yeah.
Just
like now that it's fixed, we're just retroactively banning people.
We found you guys. We know where you are. We banned you. Frankie said that Monster Hunter isn't even in the top 10 anymore, and
because it's a year-old game,
and it's a PvE experience that once you experience it, I mean, it's really cool when you go do it, but those moment-to-moment gameplay things happen in a PvP setting more often.
And what
than
is this top 10? Top 10. Destiny's not in the top 10.
Has Destiny ever been in the top
nothing's
10?
in the top 10 that I would watch.
No, but
usually it's like League of Legends. Like you can keep
Destiny
that bullshit.
1 like a huge community of people that watched on Twitch? Destiny 1 was a pretty big community, right?
Yeah, but almost never in the top 10.
I mean, it was always
like maybe the first trials weekend.
But thousands and thousands and thousands of people still watched.
It was always near the top of the directory, though. It was always in the first
You can see it on the first page. Yeah. Maybe top 20.
You can't see it on the first page anymore.
And on the weekends, it was always in the top 10.
Yeah.
Because of trials.
Yeah.
It was always in the top 10 on the weekends. Always.
You were always in my top 10 on the weekend, Huffy.
It just like what I'm getting at is that when you said streamability, I thought back to my conversation that I've been having with my chat for a while. That Destiny is a very, very difficult game to stream on a PvE side of it, and the PvP side of it is kind of non-existent. So I'm kind of in this like void space where nothing is fun to stream with Destiny, but I want to stream Destiny, but like it's not entertaining to watch.
I find it just so interesting, like how your opinion has changed over the last year. Because
how do you mean?
Just when I first met you, you were like doing the Leviathan raid like 20 times a day. Yeah, and getting nothing for it, but it was like something you would do, Yeah. And now the game is better, but I mean it's in a little bit of a content lull.
Like I don't know, like my opinion is informed by a lot of other factors on Twitch and long
So just
term.
because there was nothing else out at the time that you liked.
I don't know if I would say that, but I've come to appreciate the need for competitive PvP.
Hmm.
Like competitive PvP is a necessary component if you want it to be streamable, because that's where the magic actually happens.
I think that a strong PvE community with like loot and drops to like feed like interesting guns and abilities into the PvP side of the game is like a super strong. I think that they're
Dude,
very
I think there
cinematic.
is PvE games that are viable on their own. I mean, like, look at like a streamer like Carnage. I mean, I don't think he does a lot of PvP stuff.
There's a difference between streamers and like games. Like if you look at like the top 10, you have Apex, Fortnite, Just Chatting, we know why that's 3. League of Legends, Dota, Counter-Strike, Grand Theft, and people are watching the open world PvP thart of Grand Theft Auto, Super Smash Brothers, StarCraft, and then World of Warcraft. The top 8 of the top 10 are all...
I'm actually surprised World of Warcraft is that high.
World of Warcraft had a huge following when Method was doing their PvE side of it, but then it dropped off back to the ESL League, because the league that's happening with PvP right now, that's why people are watching World of Warcraft.
Okay.
When that's not going on, that'll drop. It'll still be above Destiny, but it'll be, you know.
See, I find that interesting. I don't find World of Warcraft interesting to watch at all.
Dude, Asmongold has a he hates it, but he hates to love it.
Yeah. But like 8 out of 10 of the top games on Twitch being PvP focused, like, is telling.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's telling.
Well, people like competition. That's definitely a thing.
Well, it's not just that, but it's like people like competition with anything. If you think about it like that, because like when were people watching Destiny in its directory? People were watching that when people were competing for world's first. In a PvE thing.
Niobe Labs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Niobe Labs. Like that's when people
and
were
that
watching.
Wasn't even like engaging. No. Like people just watched that out of
competition
curiosity.
Competition though is central to that part of that.
Yeah.
And when you don't have elements in the game that you cannot compete with another player, even if you have if you had a PvE experience and you had the ability to compete with your teammates in certain things, like instead of just showing damage on like show me how much better I'm doing than my other, or how much of a better player I am, and not just like the base mechanics that are kind of tuned down for your item level because your power level is high enough to compensate for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like a rift system, like in Diablo, like something that you can push as a PvE player, like, you know, towards like, you know.
Wait, Huffy, would you say a dark zone by chance?
Oh god.
No.
Or something similar to it.
Dude, have you 2 of the 3 dark zones in the Division 2 are going to be power level equalized. Like, I don't want to talk about that.
The wilderness and RuneScape.
I'm so angry. But you know what I mean. Like, you played Diablo 3.
So last night I was we were waiting for you guys to get on, and Eddie and I were talking in chat, and you know, I was talking about how they could change Gambit to introduce successful elements of a battle royale genre without being a battle royale itself, but it would have to be introduced inside of Gambit. The suggestion that I came up with is that you kind of have loadouts, but you kind of don't at the same time. Like the weapons are kind of like all over the map. And
like in like a Halo style where you have like something basic, but you have to go. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so I see.
That's fair.
So it'd still be part of
So like fixed areas where the sniper's always in this spot.
Yeah, but you could go pick up an auto rifle. That would be a specific auto rifle. It would actually change the competition to be, what can you do with this auto rifle? You know what I mean?
I don't know if the game is capable of all of that right now, but maybe.
Maybe if they did like locked loadouts, technically, like where
and use that locked loadouts as a part
of they could do gun game like Call of Duty.
There you go.
And just make it so you go through like a bunch of different Destiny guns and
that would be fun. That would actually be
I
pretty
think
fun.
That's
that-
something a lot of people have suggested.
Yeah. I mean, I think that brings up another big problem about Gambit, is that Gambit does not feel competitive. Why? I don't think it's as much about the meta as it is, like, so something that does feel competitive in Gambit, like when you go in as an invader and you can see the other team and what they're doing, like it feels kind of against the clock. You know, something when they first showed Gambit to us, you know, they showed the Guardians on both sides of this wall, and I kind of envisioned an experience where you could see what they were doing. You know, where like there was like a glass wall in the middle, and you had like knowledge of what was going on over there, but you're kind of just in your little box.
Yeah.
You know, like shooting ads. Like it doesn't feel like you're playing against other people until you get an invader. Like that little bar up at the, you know, top middle, like it doesn't give you a sense of urgency, a sense that you're
not
playing
nearly as
against
Gambit
much.
people.
for
I'll give you
us
that.
so much of a standout is that they married aspects of a PvP experience. Like when we think about how we felt about Gambit when Gambit first came out, the reason why everybody liked it when it came out was because nobody knew what it was, but in the same time, it was because they married aspects of the PvP experience and the PvE experience in a different way than what we're used to. So they took successful aspects of PvP and successful aspects of PvE, and they found a way to marriage them together, or to meld them together into a new experience. Now, Battle Royale is a genre.
Yeah,
I guess
it's a game genre.
Like there are aspects from other game genres, not just Battle Royale, but like there's other aspects of other games that they can easily take. If they're, and the only thing that would potentially stop them is their engine. But like an idea on paper, if they could get that in the game, it would be very easy to implement.
Yeah, so
And
you
just-
mean as far as like philosophy for like design of activities?
Yeah,
like
so the
activity
design philosophy of Gambit is a PvP experience that has PvE elements, but it is in the essence, it's a PvE experience with PvP kind of like on the back end.
Yeah.
My thought about Battle Royale and Destiny is just because you can, I don't think you should. Like I don't feel that Destiny really supports the idea of a Battle Royale. Like it would seem so foreign and so forced, I feel.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But
I
I
think that
mean, we said the same thing about PvE and PvP though.
Did we though?
Like you could never do those two things together in the way that Gambit did.
Fair.
Well, I understand your desire for like elements of. I think that an element of a battle royale that is like very
Design.
important is that everyone starts on equal footing, and you can just jump in and play. Right? You don't have to jump in and play through like a 6-hour story and then like do whatever else and like grind these guns to be competitive. There is a forum for you to just jump in
To
and
that
play
point,
on even ground.
I think you and I have always said that Destiny should separate the sandboxes and have fixed loadouts that you can choose from. For
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Yeah.
But what I like better about an arena shooter than, a battle royale is I am somebody who likes to use the same thing constantly. I don't like to change it up. I don't like to pick up whatever RNG crap throws in front of me. I like to use a hand cannon and a sniper and not deviate from that. So, I mean, fixed loadouts, I'm fine with that. As long as I can pick the same sniper every time, it's whatever.
Well, you wouldn't be able to pick the same sniper every time because a sniper would be a different type of weapon.
What do you mean?
So, like, it would be... I mean, if you look back into the Halo days, the sniper and the rocket launcher were always put on separate ends of the map.
So that's map placement. That's a different thing. What we're saying is more like if you ever played Titanfall, you pick what kind of weapons you want to start with at the beginning
and
of the
Call
match.
of Duty does the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what you would do. I mean, like I'm okay with the map placement thing too, Exo. I loved Halo, but the difference there is it's not RNG. That sniper is in the same spot every time. You know where to go for it. If you want the sniper, go beat the other guy who wants it, you know?
Yeah.
And if it's your teammate, then you can kill him too.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
Just
like,
having
hey,
like
come over here.
some.
Check out this wall over here. Let me show you. Show you
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
it's like.
No,
Just
they
like-
had friendly fire on, so literally people would just like walk up and like assassinate their teammate
Yeah.
and
I
steal
love
his
friendly
weapon.
fire.
It was so fucking toxic.
I really want friendly
It was
fire
great,
in Destiny.
though.
Like that's one thing I want in Destiny is friendly fire. That would be so much fun.
Oh my god. But like, you know that when Halo 5 came out, they actually started banning people for doing that, and it's like, why the fuck is it in your game if you're gonna ban people for it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It's like CS:GO. Like they still ban people for team killing and that.
All right, I have to get going. I have family over, and like I said, I wasn't feeling that well tonight. But
For sure.
Thanks for stopping by.
It was-
XO.
Love you, XO.
it
Later,
was
Boo
fun. It
Bear.
was fun. Good. Like Recked. Just to give you guys a heads up, Recked was like, "Guys, it's episode 52," and I'm like, "Oh crap!" That means I'm like, "Yeah, I'm actually excited for it. Let's do this." But I know
Yeah.
I didn't have forever. Like I was expecting it to be about a half an hour, but I mean, here I am, an hour and 15 minutes later, and I'm still talking about it. So I'll see you guys next week, and have a good night.
Bye,
Later,
Later,
XO.
man.
Thanks for
Right.
hanging
Keep it
out.
real.
So I have man, I wish it would just leave
I know.
the format in like the bigger boxes. Like, why the landscape?
Oh, I have it set to where it goes down, and I like this way better.
How the
You
fuck
just
do do
press the
that?
down
I just
arrow.
Figured out how to put my feet. You're a down
Yeah.
arrow.
You just hover over the thing and press the. That's so mean. You're a down arrow.
Sorry.
Um,
You just press it.
So a couple other things I wanted to mention. The roadmap has two things on it that we know absolutely
very
nothing
bad.
about, called Arc Week and the Revelry. So they're both free to all players. You don't have to buy the season pass to know anything about them. Or to participate in them, but we have no idea what they are, and they're coming at the end of the season, so something to keep an eye on.
It is nice to have a new spring event. That is kind of nice. That's something that's new and
Niobe
different
Labs
and-
2.0.
Nice.
Let's go.
It's probably a new dungeon, guys.
I'm gonna poop my pants.
I do that.
I thought Luke Smith being at the end of this ViDOC was a really interesting thing.
was a terrible
we
idea.
haven't really seen or heard anything from him.
Terrible idea.
What?
It was a
What?
terrible idea.
What, to have Luke Smith at the end?
Why?
Oh yeah.
Why?
Well, first of all, he's not in the most. He's not in the best graces with the Destiny community right now. But second of all, it was like
Why?
after this huge like exciting like trailer where they're like hyping up this stuff like for better or
Yeah.
worse, he's at the end just like, yeah, it's gonna be good. You know, like I don't know.
You can't tell me that Bungie controlled Destiny does not get you rock hard.
It-
Seriously.
Would have had the trailer presented me better things.
I guess we get turned on by different things.
No. I
Wait,
understand.
wait. I'm confused. Why is Luke Smith not in the best graces right now? Did something
Because
happen I don't know about?
oh no, just like because of his like lead role
Oh.
in like developing Destiny, which is not in like his name is
So
like
not
kind of
not
just
anything
connected
recent.
yeah, nothing recent. But no,
I mean, he did
Just a general.
smack down Activision though before the breakup when he was like, "We're happy with Forsaken. We don't care what you guys think."
yeah, for sure.
So, that was cool, but I don't know.
I think he may have been silenced a little bit because of Activision, and now that Activision's gone, he can...
I don't know about that. I
talk
think
more.
basically like after
No?
Destiny 2 flopped, he was like, "I need to go into hiding for a bit."
It's just
Fair.
I agree with you, Eddie. There's some really exciting stuff. Like, it's great for like a portion of the community. It's just like a big game and everybody needs to get some loving.
He also unveiled that Season of the Redacted is called Season of Opulence. What do you think of that?
I liked it better as redacted.
It definitely gives you thoughts of we're gonna, I guess, see more or hear more about the about Callus.
Yeah,
it
that's what
definitely
I was
gives me
thinking.
the Callus vibes.
It definitely reminds me of Callus, for sure.
Yeah, and some of the images they showed towards the end of the video were very Leviathan.
Well, and also, I mean, they show
Um,
the sweeper bot, right?
Yeah.
right.
Well, I mean, in
Yeah.
the original season pass
Mhm.
trailer, they show a giant gold statue of Callus's face for Season of the Redacted.
Was that?
You know what? You know why I think like a lot of times names are better like in their original state. Like whenever there's like a prototype name for like a new thing, like the Xbox One X was called like Project Scorpio. Remember?
That was so much more
Yeah.
badass. Yeah.
I mean, it's always like that. You know what the Kinect was called before they called it the Kinect?
What?
Project Natal.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome, and it was the. I don't know if you've ever seen the. I don't know if you've ever seen. If you ever get some time, you should look into the original promotional trailers for the Kinect, because as lame as the Kinect was, you would have thought this thing was going to change the fucking world, dude. They had this thing like they have this woman in a room. They're like, watch her, and then she's like, "Hi, Milo, how's it going?" And then like Milo like walks up to the center of the screen, and he's like, "Hi, Claire. It's been a while since I've seen you before." And then she's like, "I drew a picture for you, Milo," and she like draws a picture on this piece of paper and then like hands it up to the Kinect, and then he like pulls it into his world from it just like getting scanned by the camera.
Just fucking materializes
Dude,
in his house.
None of this shit ever came close to happening.
It's a fax machine too.
Yeah, dude.
And he's like looking at her face and stuff, and he's like, "You seem upset today. What's wrong?" And they're
Yeah,
like,
I remember
they
that,
can
yeah.
read your emotions.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine? Then like it came out, and they're like, "It's an exercise thing, guys. Have fun."
Yeah.
You can poorly mime stuff on your screen.
Yeah. That was a letdown, but you know, luckily they never had to deal with the letdown part of the Kinect because people hated the Kinect so much because there was that huge like cybersecurity thing going around the internet, and everyone thought that the Kinect was going to watch them poop.
Yeah,
so
that too. Yeah.
most people just voted to get the Xbox Sans Kinect.
I couldn't pay people
Well,
to watch me poop.
they
so,
included
if
it
they
as
wanna
a
watch
part
me
of the
poop.
original package. You couldn't say, "I don't want it." You know,
they
so-
had to change and offer it without. Yeah.
So let's talk about before we talk about pinnacle weapons. I wanted to mention, Huffy. This is I put this note in here for you. The chroma that's involved in these new armor sets is actually going to be affected by colorblind mode. So your colorblind mode will affect things in game now, not just the HUD.
Yeah, I'm excited by that. I'm pumped.
I can't wait for you to be like, "There's a purple guy," and then everyone else will be like, "What?"
Oh, that's gonna be so good.
I've actually so Fortnite has a great colorblind mode. Apex's Tritanophia is shit. It is very hard to distinguish anything. So that needs some work.
Yeah. So pinnacle weapons. Let's just jump right into it.
Rip this
The
Band-Aid off.
Crucible.
Honestly, there's like this to me. I don't think this is a big topic of conversation. We're getting an SMG. The damage goes up. That's the Crucible content for the season. Yay! Next.
Damn.
Cool. SMGs
but, like,
might be
it's an
fine now
SMG.
because
Aren't
they're
you
buffing
happy?
shotguns into oblivion. Yay. We're going back to year one where everyone runs around with Mida SMG and just like triple jumps over your head and high jumps around the map. Nice.
Fair.
I don't know. I liked SMGs when they were good, but I don't think I'm gonna like this. I'll have to see it in action.
I don't think it's gonna be anything special. I think it's literally a garbage throwaway weapon, and it's kind of interesting that they're even doing it.
I mean,
honestly,
my take on it is that it is garbage, but it's gonna be the meta. So spam.
You think it's gonna be the meta?
yeah,
I
true.
do. So spam is like their new balancing is like all towards spam. Like the unintentional buff of full auto shotguns, and high rate of fire shotguns since highest probability is that they're not going to be able to one shot consistently. So people will have to use high rate of fire shotguns to get there are just going to be people aping forward with SMGs and full auto shotties in the same way they were in year one. It was even harder to snipe there because every hunter and their mom with high jump was just flying at you with SMGs. There were no there wasn't even there was not even an attempt to primary duel because the fastest way to kill someone was to leap at them with an SMG and then melee them. It just doesn't seem like. It seems to me that if shotguns get worse and spammier, then SMGs will come into the fore, which means that people will be more mindlessly aggressive and there will be less primary fights, and things will be even.
Isn't an SMG considered a primary?
It's not, though. We both know that it's in the primary slot, but an SMG is not a primary weapon by any sort of philosophical definition.
Okay.
High time to kill, short range of effectiveness.
I will be very shocked if this thing out time to kills the last word. So I don't see it shifting the meta as much as you're alluding to. But
I mean, it's the time to kill is not as important as ease of use.
True.
I guess.
It's much easier to ape than it is to precision hit. So yeah,
I honestly sure, jumping was helpful, but I don't think that it was ever a smart thing, even when SMGs were really good in year one, to ape at people. Definitely not running anything close to a straight line at people with an SMG. That never would have worked.
Well,
but your sniper was in your heavy slot too.
Your only successful strategy was, jumping over doors with an SMG, meleeing people, backpedaling. That was the way to use an SMG, right?
I mean, I disagree. I'd say that the majority of trials that I played was 4 arc striders. They wouldn't come straight at you, but there's enough hard cover in Destiny to where you just get surrounded by 4 arc striders with regen melee and SMGs, and they just slide at you in straight lines, and it was a super infuriating experience with very little primary use.
I don't think it'll be nearly as bad now that the sniper's not in our heavy slot. I think it'll be a little bit more compatible, at least.
Okay. I really don't think this thing is going to have that big of an impact. I mean, the mountaintop is actually it'll be a gadfly, and honestly. No one uses it, so.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on how bad shotguns get. Because the majority of the player base wants to hold forward. And so if shotguns are bad, then the majority of player base is going to move towards something that allows them to hold forward, whether it's good or not. It'll be annoying.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see. I'm excited about this Gambit one, though. The 21% Delirium. It's a rapid-fire machine gun. We're finally getting a different archetype of machine gun. Every machine gun has been a carbon copy of the last machine gun, and it's getting pretty annoying. I like rapid-fire machine guns. I like them better than the slow-firing machine guns.
I agree.
There's actually a problem right now where, I've been on both sides of this. And this was even a problem in Destiny 1. The slow-firing machine guns can lose to the last word.
I haven't noticed that.
It does. The last word has a faster time to kill, just on paper. And so depending on how the circumstances play out, you can lose.
It's like an ease of use and also range thing. We're talking about a fully automatic gun that has the range of the entire map, compared to a hard to use weapon that is only effective at a very short range.
The one's a power weapon, though.
It's true.
And you only have a limited amount of ammo with it. I'm just saying, I think that this will be a better solution for people who are just looking to, secure some kills and not necessarily be a million miles away.
Yeah. No, I'm a super big fan of this weapon. Yeah. I'm happy.
The Vanguard weapon is a scout. It will be nice if this thing could be good. because, man, I haven't liked a single scout in Destiny since the Nameless Midnight, and I didn't really even like that. It's just that every weapon in the game sucked.
Yeah, you didn't like the Mananan?
Yeah, I guess the Mananan was okay, but again, it really just comes down to every other weapon in the game sucked. You know, like there was never really in Destiny 1, I think the Dead Orbit Scout, I can't remember what it was called.
It was Hung Jury.
Hung Jury, yeah, that was like the last scout rifle I actually liked in a Destiny game. So this is gonna have a Dragonfly perk that deals more damage based on the number of precision hits beforehand. So if you're like shooting at a knight or an ogre or something, it's going to amplify the Dragonfly perk.
That sounds like with the what is it? The fucking one from Mars. I can't remember the name of it right now. The exotic one that we had to do a bunch of shit for. Yes, that one. Doesn't that have something to do with precision hits and more damage?
It's like every third precision hit, it causes a little explosion. But this is saying the explosion will get bigger and bigger depending how many precision hits it takes to kill them.
Oh, okay. Fair. Okay. I mean, that could be interesting.
And I didn't explain the 21% delirium, but the kills increase the weapon's damage until it's stowed or reloaded. So that's pretty awesome. That'll be great in PvE.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can mow down a bunch of thralls and then hit a big ogre.
And technically in PvP, it's probably going to make... Like, I don't think it'll be something easily exploitable, but if you happen to run into like a big group of enemies, you're just going to mow them down. You know, like if the whole team is standing next to each other, that's going to go poorly for them.
Yeah.
Could be pretty cool, yeah.
So... I'm excited about that. They snuck in some quick sandbox changes in here. That grenade launchers are apparently getting buffed in PvE.
Yeah, that's nice.
And rocket launchers are getting changed, so they're getting buffed, but cluster bombs are getting nerfed. So
I'm into that.
Yeah, cheese strat's gonna be interesting. I mean, Thunderlord strat's pretty fun. So
I'm thinking, Eddie, that with a PvE damage buff of 60 to 65%, that you'll be able to cheese Riven with any rockets now, probably.
I mean, I could see that, but the beauty of the cluster bombs was the cluster bombs did as much damage as everything else, and there was more of it. So them narrowing it, or I guess nerfing it, kind of cuts down on the ease of that. I don't think it's going to be as easy to just everybody lay rockets into her face. There might have to be some extra steps, or at least a Thunderlord strat of some sort.
Yeah, it'll probably be have a harder. What's the word?
Let me ask you
won't
this.
be able to do it at a lower delta.
Let me ask you this: how much extra damage do you think cluster bombs do?
Significant. It's significant that if you try to use regular rockets against cluster bombs, you will not.
Right.
It won't work.
But how much extra? Not more than the rocket itself, right?
Yes. Way more.
Way more, because there's more of the cluster bombs. The cluster bombs does as much damage as the impact.
I don't know.
So you're getting exponential,
I've
damage.
tried a Riven with normal rockets, and we only got a third of her health done.
Wow.
Exactly, yeah. It is, the cluster bombs right now are exponential. When I understand why they're nerfing them, because, I mean, it was significant to that cheese, right? But at the same time, why take it from us? I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Did he freeze for you?
Who, me?
Did I freeze?
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I was looking at the colorblind settings for the...
They're pretty cool, right?
Yeah, the Sentry looks great. I'm sad that, if I wore the Sentry one, everyone else would see me as yellow, but I'd look...
You used
like that.
Tritanopia?
Yeah.
So, to me, that color looks like white with like a red tinge.
It's pink.
Okay. Huh. Yeah, I guess I can kind of see that in the aura. All right. Yeah. Some of these I can't tell the difference. Like deuteropenia and protanopia are like almost exactly the same except for the first one.
Those are both a red-green color blindness.
Okay.
But they're both controlled by different genes, so they have slightly different effects on the eyes. So they look the same because they are almost exactly the same.
Welcome to GuardianCast, guys.
Yeah.
But so yeah, like I've been thinking to myself, I really want to be excited for this. I'm keeping my expectations like low, but I hope it's something I can play a lot and just have fun with it. And you know, Gambit and this new PvE event. If it's something that's fun, I'm gonna play a lot of it.
Not to mention Gambit private matches. So we could do Gambit tournaments, stuff like that. Which, I mean, yes, I understand it doesn't sound that great, right?
I wasn't even gonna mention it, to be honest.
All right. Well, I'm trying to look on the bright side. I'm sorry.
I do think, though, look, people did say that was something that they were going to want early on, was Gambit private matches before we got to play it. And I think they got to working on that early on. And then I think after we got Gambit, everyone was kind of like, yeah, we don't need private matches of this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to be utilized a whole lot, but it is a nice
you can even go in and explore all by yourself.
I think that they are a little disconnected there. I think that they think that that's more exciting, way more exciting than it is.
Yeah.
The Rockstar competition, which I almost sold my soul to for a week. Thank God I didn't. The finals, they changed at the last second from a Crucible competition to a 4v4 game of Gambit.
Yeah.
Which, like, what a great big slap in the face.
Imagine if they would have been like, surprise, you're doing strikes.
Oh my God.
Speed running strikes.
I don't even know who ended up winning that competition, so.
I didn't know any of it. I feel
like there was some sort of controversy around it, but I don't remember.
There was a huge.
Like, that's the most I remember.
Because everyone that won was account sharing.
Yeah.
So none of the people that won were people that were known in the Destiny community, for like being good at those things.
Oh, so one other thing I wanted to mention in this TWAB. True Vanguard got Hammer of the Week, movie of the week for Hammer Time. It's very nice. It was a good clip of him throwing hammers. That's cool. But the honorable mention was literally someone soloing Insurrection Prime. Yeah, that got runner-up.
That's intriguing.
So
that's a little conspicuous.
Nothing against True Vanguard. Your hammers are cool, dude. But I don't know. I think that's a little out of whack.
Hey, at least they're showing PvPs some love.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I think he's using that build I talked about like a long time ago, where you put the Worm God Caress arms on, and you're able to like one-hit people if you chain the hammer.
Yeah.
It's fucked up, actually, Eddie. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but basically by the third hammer kill, you're able to one-shot supers with your throwing hammer.
That is kind of fucked up.
It's really wonky. Yeah. Like, if you came over there as like a Dawnblade or something, and you're like, yeah, I got this guy, and he just throws a hammer at you and you instantly die, you'd be like, what on earth just happened there,
Yeah. I mean, because I even have to two-shot, at least two body shot a Dawnblade in the Crucible with a sniper.
Meanwhile, throwing knives are garbage still, so...
Oh, cool. Yeah, I know.
Let me just bring that
Who would
up.
have thought?
Because I'm sure that it's ever going to change at this point.
I miss good throwing knives. Just hitting a nice throwing knife shot. Oh,
feels like crap because nobody dies.
Yeah. It gives you the same feeling that you get when you snipe somebody in the head and you're in their super, and they're like, oh, I still have a speck of health. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
great.
And God forbid they have one-eyed
Oh,
mask.
Yeah, because like say it's like a sentinel, and you just like snipe them in the head, and then they just throw the shield at you. It's impossible to miss. It doesn't matter where you're standing; it'll bounce off 3 walls and still hit you and 12 other teammates. And then they get an overshield. But that's changing next week. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that'll be
Thankfully.
nice.
So excited, yeah. I feel like a lot of the things we've talked about, like I feel we're gonna have maybe some slightly different opinions next week once we've tested some of these things and felt
For
them,
sure.
and it'll be fun to kind of go from here and see what our
Yeah,
afterthoughts
I'm excited.
Yeah, so next week, just looking at the roadmap, what are we? Oh yeah, so Gambit Prime is coming out next week. They're not doing the staggered thing again. Because remember last season they did like the season comes out and then the other stuff.
Well, they're doing they are doing a staggered release with the Reckoning.
Yeah, but you get Reckoning Tier 1 the first week. I'm just saying we're not having that week where it's like there's nothing to do, but they changed the season or whatever like they did before. So
yeah. No, they're giving us pretty much everything now, but I guess the more advanced versions are a little staggered, which makes sense. They give us time to experience these things and then give the rest.
All right, guys. Well, it's been an exciting 1 year, and here's to hoping things only go up and get better from here. Don't forget to check out the new GuardianCast website, GuardianCast.net.
If you could do us a favor and tweet out anything at the devs with hashtag Crucible maps, that would be greatly appreciated.
Hashtag remove map packs.
Yep. That'd be a good one.
Well,
love y'all.
peace.
Love you.